But we begin today with the mess on the Lakers. They lost last night to Miami without Jimmy Butler. It was their 9th loss in their last 12 games. The Lakers are in 10th place in the Western Conference. The Athletic is reporting that there is currently a deepening disconnect between Darvin Ham and the locker room, raising questions about the head coach's standing. LeBron James left the locker room last night without talking, which he never does. Wilbon, what do you make of the current state of the Lakers?
They're a mess. And it's funny to blame Darvin Ham, who was roundly and justifiably celebrated for getting to the conference finals last year after Rob Pelinka swapped out the whole team at the deadline. So it shows you how fickle everybody is with the Lakers. It is the most fickle fan base, I think, Tony, it really, in any sport. I mean, even above the Cowboys and other franchises, the Laker fans. And it's funny being in L.A. yesterday and having this groundswell when they lose to Miami without Jimmy Butler. And that's a game. Look, Tony, they got like 11 of 12 games at home. And the Lakers need to go 8-3 in those 11 games, really 9-2, because they are in 10th place. They've got to climb a lot of people, and you don't just leapfrog teams. You got teams like Denver and Minnesota and Oklahoma City and even New Orleans, whose rosters, in my opinion, are better than the Lakers' top-heavy roster of 2. But if you go from 1 to 7, not 1 to 12, 1 to 7, their rosters are better. So Rob Pelinka's got to thread the needle again, which is that's an impossible ask. And LeBron and Anthony Davis, who've already played essentially every game, they're playing well, and the Lakers aren't good enough. They're not good enough.
Yeah, so I mean, I think the tidbit about LeBron is very juicy because there's nobody playing basketball, maybe ever, who's gotten rid of as many coaches as LeBron has gotten rid of. And I'm wondering if he didn't want to talk last night because he didn't want to answer questions about Darvin Ham. And if that's true, it would not augur well for Darvin Ham, especially after a players-only meeting. Mike, the simple solution for a lot of these things in all sports is to fire the coach. And often that works. Let's look at the Edmonton Oilers, right? The Edmonton Oilers have 2 superstars. They got Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, just like LeBron James and Anthony Davis. They fired the coach and they took off. They're still on a heater. This could happen to the Lakers. But as you pointed out, Mike, last year the Lakers started out 2-10 and they made the conference finals. I mean, I just think it's Darvin Ham's turn in the box. Like, the Warriors are in the same sort of trouble as the Lakers are. I mean, you're not going to fire Steve Kerr. He's got 4 rings, right? It's never going to happen.
And you know, let me just say this, Tony, you raise a great point. And it's going to come up again with a fickle, crazy fan base and people obsessed with that franchise. Tony, if they fire Darvin Ham, let me go on record as saying this right now. They will go into the dumper. If they fired Darvin Ham, who did a hell of a job last year with that team, getting them as far as he got them. Darvin Ham, a smart guy and a real man. Let them fire him. And I hope they lose every damn game, and they will deserve to do that if they lay this at the feet of Darvin Ham.
Let me stay with basketball. Tonight will mark the Warriors' 11th straight game without Draymond Green. Green hasn't played since striking Yusuf Nurkic of the Suns in the face on December 12th, an indefinite suspension that Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN reported on Christmas would ultimately last 11 to 13 games. But Green has not been practicing with the team, and Coach Steve Kerr says, quote, "We've been giving him his space, and he's been giving us ours," unquote. Wilbon, how does the situation between Draymond Green and the Warriors sound to you?
Tone, there is no situation. I mean, he's got a way to go before he's back on the court in the game. And Woj talked about that a few days before he's even back in the facility. Well, he's not practicing with them. This is not like Ja Morant, who was practicing with the team while suspended. It's not. Draymond hasn't even been there. So he's got to get back in that space. They need him. They're about 500 with and without him. But they're going to need Draymond Green if they're going to make a move in the West and be a threat come the playoffs. So what does that mean? How soon do they have to get him back? This space thing is necessary. When Draymond Green comes back, and he's coming back, he is going to have to demonstrate continually a complete change in behavior from what we've seen. The Warriors know that, even though they've never really insisted on it. All right, Draymond Green's going to know that now, and he's still got to satisfy the commissioner's office. He's got to satisfy the league that he should be back. He'll get back. But, Tony, this notion that he's coming back in the next couple of days to save the day, people need to put that away.
So I don't know the intricacies of this situation, but I would focus less on when he's coming back and more on what he's doing now. The fact is he has the right to practice with the team every single day, and he hasn't done that. To me, Mike, and I could be wrong, this indicates he's taking the suspension very seriously, and he's working on problems that he has identified. Because this could be, you got to be cognizant of this, could be the last chance he ever gets to play in the league, and I think he wants to be emotionally and psychologically ready for this. The notion of 11 to 13 games strikes me as too few. You and I, when the punch happened, you and I sat on the show and said at least 20. So 11 to 13, to be honest, Mike, with his behavioral problems in the past, 11 to 13 by the NBA sounds like a fine for David Tepper from the NFL.
Yeah,
it sounds like they don't care about it as much as they should. Am I wrong?
No, Tony, I agree with every word you've just said. And that's what I'm saying. Draymond, he knows when he comes back, things have to be different. This can't just be business as usual as it was defined all these things. And the Warriors know that, Tone. I believe that while they've let it go in the past, because Draymond is so critical to everything they do, and you mentioned emotionally and psychologically, he is. There's no getting around that. But, you know, this is a different day. And so I'm not looking for him to come and save the day now. Maybe he can help save it in, February or later.